Hello everyone, my name is Jay Martin. Thank you for watching TW Replays. We are on pyramids, of course. You can see the actual pyramids in the background, which is a cool feature. On the left playing in this game is Mistress Amber from MGL, who's a friend of mine. And on the right is me. And you can tell that our opening line of thought is we want to get on the hill on this map. And the reason I wanted to show this game is in the previous video, which was on Italian grasslands, there's a hill in the middle. And in this game, both players mad charged their cav to try to kind of take control of that hill, but just kind of wound up trading their cav. And I felt that was a bad move. My argument was, I'd rather concede the terrain advantage to you and preserve my units so that I can use them later in the battle, and I'll figure out another place on the map to kind of outmaneuver you or make those units a little more valuable. And this prompted a bit of a discussion, albeit a brief one. And I thought this game was kind of a rough analogy to that. On this map, if you've never played it, the hill... Oh, excuse me. The hill here is a very powerful defensive tool. Not as powerful as a forest, but you'll notice that this player is a lot closer to it than I am. And so this player, if they run, is able to get on the hill faster. And again, not a direct analogy, but, you know, the standard template of how this game goes, notice this player is way on the right. And I decide that they're too close, and they're going to get up there very fast, which they do, and we audible, and I start moving to the left. And a mistake that I see players make sometimes is all you're thinking about is the hill. Get on the hill, get on the hill, get on the hill. And then you get on the hill, and your opponent doesn't want to fight for it, and you're like, what do I do now? Right? Well, you need to keep moving, and you need to engage, because if this dude sits on the hill right there, then that means we're gonna 2-for-1 this player and eventually come back for you with twice the troops. And this is sort of what happens here. And in this case, we're willing to concede the terrain advantage, but exploit better maneuverability to try to engage this player before GB can have a say in how the outcome of the battle is. I gotta mention that Amber herself is an extremely good player, so her against an average person is going to be a mismatch anyway. But there's a couple... Oh, sorry. Overreacted there a little bit. There's a couple interesting things that she does. Notice the French player has all their lights on one... Well, let's back up. First of all, the French player is broken into two halves, which is kind of not a great idea to begin with. But there's no lights over here, so she's willing to push 2 of her 4 to a range advantage, and this person just kind of keeps withdrawing. French player is also just not going to use their cav at a relevant point in the game is something that you're going to notice. There's 5 shooter cav here. Now I've moved mine over, so now our team outnumbers them, and this is one of those fairly rare scenarios where I would suggest that cav on cav fighting is good when both teams are fielding shooter cav. Might as well do that. Amber makes a few aggressive moves. First of all, the cav come through with the old guard. What she's done is she's recognized that the old guard are a big threat, and she wants to get them out of here. So she's willing to trade a couple units to make that happen. So old guard go in, and then there's a Bashi Bazook. Or excuse me, the cav go in, force them to square. Bashi Bazook comes in, and then she's going to be able to get good fire on them because she's got them pinned down. The other thing that French dude does is in order to get away from her Janissaries, they start kiting their line pretty good. There could be 2 possible reasons for this. The first is they're just kiting away from the Janissaries, which is probably the correct move. The second is they want to kind of get back in line with the GB player. And if you look at the minimap here, you can see that the GB player is nowhere near engaging. And if anything, I should probably be moving a little closer or helping here more. But Amber's willing to let her Janissaries just kind of do their thing for a while. And then the game kind of slows down. Both teams are kind of posturing with their cav a little bit. The real story of how Amber wins this game is if we just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units going to fight 4. And that's the kind of power at a point that really wins games. So what Amber's really good at, you can see right here, is the multidisciplinary approach of a cav and a melee backed up by musketry. And the combination of these 3 units, or I guess we're talking about 6 units hitting one target right now, can really mow through people if you don't react to that. And this is a case where I'd like to see this French player using, excuse me, throat. A case where I'd really like to see the French player using their cav to be relevant here. If you don't do that, you're going to have a bad time. And in this case, Amber's again using her Janissaries to kind of pin the infantry down while her line come up. GB players trying to be relevant. Lifeguard's a horse, sweet unit. Wonder what they look like. Very dapper. That's actually a reasonable play. Also that should have... Oh, squared. Okay. But we wind up in a position where the infantry here is all wrapped up. The cav are pretty trapped. And this is just going to get cleaned up. And then all those extra units are going to get a turn around this direction. And even though the GB player got on the hill and kind of, you know, did that correctly, if you're willing to concede the terrain to them and just proceed with the normal game on another part of the field, then you can make the terrain kind of irrelevant once you show back up with double the units. Now this isn't true on every map, but on maps where the terrain is like a non-Austerlitz map, maps where the terrain isn't completely overwhelming, I think this is generally the correct call. And I don't know, it looks like some GB units have already died, and I don't know how. Are we done over here? Yeah, we're done over here. So what happens is, this is the vaunted GB defensive position. And this is all the cav and the extra units are going to be able to wrap around this direction. And I don't know what I do from this position if you're GB. I don't think you can win. But I think some combination of a attack this direction with your cav is where you start. I guess a good critique of both of the opponent players is nobody did anything with their cav. And if you let opponent control the initiative like that, yeah, see, this is the cav already getting behind. And we're just countercharging here. I suppose a comment I'd make is that knowing when to use your cav to get the most value for them is maybe one of the harder skills in the game. Because we see some extremes, right? On the Italian Grasslands game, we just traded our cav right at the beginning. And then in this game, on the other hand, we didn't use our cav at all. Right? Using, you know, finding good spots to use them where you get the most value is kind of difficult. So anyway, I thought this game was sort of an analogy to the idea of conceding a terrain advantage, and we'll come back for it later, with the assumption that you're going to try to outmaneuver them or generate value on another part of the field. And then Amber, of course, made some excellent attacks. It's always worth doing a video about. Anyway, that's the video for this Saturday. You are welcome to join us on the TW Replays Discord. I enjoy it as a platform. People organize games and talk strategy and tactics and whatnot. Amber got a lot of kills. Nicely done. And that is it. Thank you for watching again. Please leave a comment if you have a question or something. That's mostly how I come around doing new videos, is somebody asked a question on a previous one and how it gets done. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.